And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet the participants for Game 4 for the visiting team, the Pirates from East Carolina. Head coach in her second season, Courtney Oliver, assistant coach, Jessica Hirschel, assistant coach, Matt Nandon, and graduate assistant manager, Emily Wyman. And now the reserve players for ECU. Number 0, Olivia Naran. Number 2, Ashley Weingart. Number 4, Kendra Ziemba. Number 5, Mary Williams. Number 6, Kaylin Elwin. Number 10, Morgan Halo. Number 12, Megan Mills. Number 13, Ashley Cruz. Number 15, Abigail Hunkwood. Number 22, Rebecca Burrell. And now the Pirates starting lineup. Leading off a senior center fielder from Tracy, California, number 20, Sierra Irvin. Batting second, a senior right fielder from Mililani, Hawaii, number 14, Casey Oshiro. Batting third, a junior first baseman from Pikeville, North Carolina, number 11, Meredith Burrows. Batting fourth, a redshirt junior catcher from Clayton, Delaware, number 7, Alex Mychek. Batting fifth, a senior left fielder from Pittsburgh, California, number 21, Allie Ramirez. Batting sixth, a redshirt freshman third baseman from Windermere, Florida, number 8, Kate McClellan. Batting seventh, a junior shortstop from Bethany Beach, Delaware, number 17, Carly Smith. Batting eighth, a freshman and a designated player from Jacksonville, North Carolina, number 32, Logan Wood. Batting ninth, a senior second baseman from Lawrenceburg, North Carolina, number 24, Megan Quick. And on the mound for ECU with a record of 17-15, a senior from Pikeville, Tennessee, number 23, Lydia Ritchie. And now for the introductions of the home team, the Cougars of the University of Houston. Head coach in her first season, Kristen Vesley. Assistant coach, Megan Gibson Lawson. Assistant coach, Jessica Schultz. Volunteer assistant coach, Kathy Tarstachek. And director of operations, Michael Palmer. And now the reserve players for Houston. Number 7, Breland Tim. Number 10, Kelly Montgomery. Number 13, Rachel Hill. Number 17, Presley Bell. Number 18, Savannah Martin. Number 21, Elise LeBeau. Number 22, Breezy Burton. Number 23, Ezra Scott. Number 28, Tristan Ellison. And number 31, Hannah Wolf. And now the Cougars starting lineup. Leading off on freshman second baseman from Moore, Oklahoma, number 27, Ariel James. Batting second, a sophomore right fielder from Sugar Land, Texas, number 24, Maya Thomas. Batting third, a senior first baseman from Sweetie, Texas, number 11, Shelby Miller. Batting fourth, a junior left fielder from Corona, California, number 25, Kaylin Crumpton. Batting fifth, a redshirt sophomore center fielder from Beach City, Texas, number 3, Sarah Parker. Batting sixth, a sophomore pitcher with a 14-10 record from Sedalia, California, number 5, Savannah Heemner. Batting seventh, a freshman and a designated player from Houston, Texas, number 8, Sarah Queen. Batting eighth, a junior shortstop from Austin, Texas, number 1, Mariah Garcia. Batting ninth, a sophomore catcher from Sugar Land, Texas, number 20, Brooke Manoy. And playing third base for the Cougars, a senior from Richmond, Texas, number 32, Jalen Baldridge. The umpire for today's second game, behind the plate, Naomi Errol. At first base, Brad Newton. And at third base, Aaron Ellar. Let's play ball.
Treat them with violence, and none of
Sierra Irvin.
Hello and welcome back to Greenville, North Carolina, as we get set for our second game of the day between the ECU Pirates and the Houston Cougars. Memphis beating USF earlier today. Hello and welcome back to Greenville, North Carolina. It's the second game of the day. Actually, our first semifinal game of the tournament with the restructured bracket due to potential weather. I'm Jeff Brywill alongside Eric Lopez. We'll be joined later by Haley Allen. And we are just underway now between the Houston Cougars and the ECU Pirates. The Cougars, the 2 seed, a winner yesterday. East Carolina pulled up the upset, Eric. They're looking to do it for a second day in a row.
They are. They're the 6th seed. Knocked off number 3 seed UCF yesterday with the power game. That's with East Carolina Softball 2017. Meredith Burrows and Alex Mychek, each with both hitting their 16th home runs of the year. East Carolina with a school record 64 home runs, an American Athletic Conference record as well.
Sierra Irvin at the plate, pops it up into left field. That'll be Crumpton backing up, makes a catch, and there is one away. As we take a look now at Savannah Hebert, outstanding yesterday, threw a complete game as our player of the game, and for the first time this year, Eric, starting back-to-back days.
Ride the hot hand. She was fantastic in the win against UConn, getting back-to-back starts for the first time. In the past, Houston's been worried about Hebner, how effective she would be on a consecutive day's start, but she has come in relief in second days.
Ground ball right side through for a base hit, so Ashiro aboard with one out.
Well, and you see right away, East Carolina's going to be very aggressive against Hebner. They're not going to wait around. They know that Hebner likes to pound the strike zone and keep the ball down, and East Carolina, Ashiro there with a nice job putting the ball down to the right side and get on. As we now hit into this middle of the lineup here, Jeff Burrows and Mychek. Burrows 16 home runs and 47 RBIs, one of the best power hitters in the country. This is the part of the lineup that makes East Carolina a legitimate threat here in this tournament.
Well, check swing that time went around for the strike 0-1. So Meredith Burrows, 312, 16 home runs. As you just mentioned, 32 homers between Burrows and Mychek.
And they both went deep yesterday in the 6th inning against UCF. That really kind of gave them some breathing room. They went up 4-1. They would hold on to win 4-2 to pull off the upset against UCF. So, and of course, being the host, a lot of confidence. It's like playing a home game.
Good little crowd here for the early afternoon game. The first game went a little long, and so started the game about 30 minutes behind the initial 12:30 Eastern start as Memphis shuts out USF 7-0. And so a little bit of a delay, but fortunately checking the radar, looks like most of the precipitation well north of Greenville looked good for here, and then tomorrow we're scheduled to try to get that early game in. 1-2 from Hebner. Swing and rolls it foul over at first base.
We're certainly hoping that it stays that way, because everybody wants this tournament, likes to watch softball, see what happens here, and decide a champion. And these two programs, Houston and East Carolina, lots of tradition, lots of history between these two programs head to head.
1-2 down and away, now a 2-2 count.
These two programs know each other very well back when both were in Conference USA in 2006. As fact, this will be the 4th all-time meeting between Houston and East Carolina in conference tournament action.
2-2 low, and they had Ashiro bouncing around over at first base. She'll stay planted there. 7 for 9 on stolen bases so far for Ashiro.
East Carolina doesn't run much. 19 steals. They play for the big inning, and why not when you got a hitter like Burrows?
3-2, fouls it off left side, out of play. Wind blowing out to left field as it gets warmer, and the humidity begins to roll in here throughout the afternoon. East Carolina going to the gold tops today.
With the purple pants, yeah, different look there.
3-2 now from Huebner. Comes inside, grounds it to second, and that's going to get under James, and it's going to be first and third. May have picked the glove up a little too early, thinking about a potential double play.
Well, first of all, Burrows hits the ball hard. Even if she doesn't hit it out of the park, she hits the ball hard. And that was too hot for James to handle there. That'll be an error. And you see right here on the replay, Burrows go with the pitches. Beautiful swing right there. Look at that, how hard that ball comes right at you. Next thing you know, James like, whoa, where did that come from?
So under the glove.
Yep. And now East Carolina threatening early here, talking about what yesterday, getting that win and upsetting UCF, playing with some confidence now. You know, trying to duplicate what this program did in 2011 when they hosted the Conference USA tournament as a 5 seed. They went on to win the championship. You know who they beat in the semifinal that year? They beat Houston. Tony Paisley, the all-time great East Carolina Pirate, who was a 3-time pitcher of the year, maybe the best pitcher in all time in Pirate softball, beat Houston and Amanda Crabtree. But that's what they're trying to duplicate here. East Carolina knows, hey, if we win home games this week, we're going to the NCAA tournament.
And we talked about this a little bit in the first game. Glad to see it implemented this year. We're not sure if that'll roll over, and they'll do it at the baseball tournament as well. If you're a softball aficionado, baseball, softball, a lot of times they'll flip a coin, see who gets home team. They're going to stay with the high seed, gets to be the home team throughout the tournament. So East Carolina, the visitors, again today, even though it is their own ballpark.
This is the first time this year they've implemented where the higher seed will be the home team in the softball tournament, no matter what. So, and I like the rule. I think it's great.
You know, that's the way it should be.
Yeah, reward the teams that finish at the top of the standings.
Here's Bychek at the plate. Takes a strike down the middle now. 1-1, as you mentioned, homered it yesterday. The senior, 282, 16 homers, 37 driven in. Needs a fly ball to get a Shiro in from third. 1-1 to Bychek. Outside will miss, 2-1.
These two teams played in the regular season in Houston. Houston swept them, but the wind's blowing out a little bit with these two firepower offenses here. We could be seeing some runs scored here today, Jeff.
2-1. Leaves it down and in. Hitters count. Very dangerous now for Bychek.
Look to see if Huebner is effective. First consecutive starts of her career here.
3-1 hitters count. Makes a good pitch there. Now full count.
Usually she started the first game and not pitched the second game, or if she did, she would come in relief. So it'll be interesting now. They trust her enough to go back-to-back. Was dominant against UConn yesterday.
3-2. Comes inside. Swing and a miss, and there's 2 away. Once you get into tournament play, you play the hot hand or the hot arm.
And that's right there, the pitch, right there. Keeping the ball down. And I think that's one of the reasons why Coach Vesley's calling Huebner's number. Against this East Carolina power lineup, you have to keep the ball down, and that's what Huebner is good at.
Allie Ramirez, 278, 9 homers, 27 driven in. Takes the ball high, and it's 1-0. So Irvin flies to left, Ashiro singles, Burrows reaches on the air. Now Bychek strikes out. As Vanoy back behind the plate, ready to go. Huebner's 1-0 offering. That one is fouled off right side, and that'll be out of play. So again, playing early again tomorrow in the softball championships. It'll be number 1 Tulsa against the 5 seed Memphis, scheduled for 1 Eastern tomorrow here on the American Digital Network. 1-1. Nice change and a called strike.
And that's what makes Huebner tough. She can throw the change, a drop ball with her height. Rise ball too. I mean, it's certainly a tall order for a hitter.
Just outside, evens it up at 2-2.
First, you mentioned tomorrow's semis, Tulsa against Memphis. Wow, Memphis looked impressive today, eliminating USF 7-0. really going to set up a heck of a second semifinal tomorrow.
Off the handle, popped it up. Hebner's got it, and that will end the inning. No runs, 1 hit in air, 2 left on base. We played half an inning between the Pirates and the Cougars. There is no score on the American Digital Network.
When learning creates leaders, ideas are ignited, focus gets sharper, and service connects generations. We commit our expertise to heal, to discover, and to drive our region forward to a brighter tomorrow. East Carolina University. Tomorrow starts here.
Well, the wind blowing out toward left field here this afternoon between ECU and Houston. It's day 2 of the American Softball Championships, and that's how it's developed so far, Eric.
Wild. You got, of course, right there, East Carolina upsetting UCF there to start it off, and Memphis upsetting USF earlier today. Houston really in control against UConn. And, well, of course, the winner of this game will advance to the championship game on Saturday and get to watch the semifinal tomorrow.
It'll be Lydia Ritchie for East Carolina, 17-15, 2.59 ERA.
The veteran got her first American Conference Tournament win yesterday against UCF. Has pitched in the American Athletic Conference Tournament throughout her entire career. Got that elusive win. Was really in control, hit her spots, made big pitches when she had to in the win against the Knights.
First pitch on the way to Ariel James, the second baseman. 366, 2 homers, 24 driven in, but a 481 leadoff hitter.
The Rookie of the Year in the American Athletic Conference really sets the tone for this Houston offense.
So Ritchie will look in, and the offering is up and out now, 2-0.
And for Ritchie, it's back-to-back days. She's accustomed to that, but 2 days in a row pitching in pressure situations. We'll see how she handles that. And that's why, Jeff, I feel like the offenses might have a little bit of an advantage today on the second day with both pitchers going back-to-back days. They're such talented hitters, and I think they're going to work the count early. And I think that's going to be part of the strategy on both sides. Let's work the count early on these 2 pitchers that pitched yesterday.
And a lot of times it's not so much that you get hit on day 2. It's just you try to be too precise, and that's where the free bases start rolling in. 2-1. Fly ball to left field. Ramirez coming in. Smith going out. Ramirez calls her off to make the catch, and there's 1 out.
Good communication there by Ramirez to call her off. Sometimes if you don't communicate that, you could have a collision, or you might scare off your defender and the ball drops for a hit. So good communication, always important in that situation.
Well, if you're at shorter third today for either team, you'll have to be careful because a routine pop-up that you think you're usually going to make a play on is going to blow out a little bit more to left field. So very, very key to let your left fielder call you off today. That pitch is going to be a strike call on the outside by Thomas, who's 1 for 3 yesterday, hitting .436, no homers, 16 driven in.
A phenomenal sophomore year after a great rookie year last year, making all-rookie team, all-conference. Really, Houston's found themselves there with James and Thomas.
Here's the bunt. It will just go foul over at third.
And that's been big. One of the questions going into the season for Houston, Katie St. Pierre was a 4-year starter at center field. Who would be that leadoff hitter for Houston? And James has taken that, and certainly Thomas at the top of the order, getting on base to set it up for Shelby Miller, who is, of course, the Colt Player of the Year and has become that big RBI in the middle of the lineup.
0-2, says she wants to waste the pitch. Reaches out, pops it up over at third base, in and out of the glove of McClellan, going toward the dugout.
You mentioned the wind. That might have pushed it a little bit to the left side. We'll look at it here on the pitch. McClellan gets a good read on it. She thinks she's got it, but look at it, the ball just kind of slightly there. Maybe also concerned about how close is she to the Houston dugout sometimes could also play a factor there in the distraction.
0-2 stays up and out this time. Thomas takes it now, 1-2 count.
Because as an infielder, you're thinking about focusing on the ball. Where's the ball? But we're also, where's that dugout? I don't want to run into the dugout, especially when it's the opponent's dugout, because they're not going to help you. They're not going to tell you where you're at.
Keep you from crashing through the net. 1-2. Comes inside, rolls it a second. Quick, Hunter hands it to first in time. There's 2 away. Taking a look at this Houston Cougar ball club, as you mentioned, they're pretty balanced up and down, led by Miller with 10 home runs.
Co-player of the year, that's where the power comes from, but you got players like Crumpton and Barker who can certainly get big hits if teams decide to pitch around Miller.
So Shelby Miller, 380, 6 doubles, 10 homers, 51 runs batted in. Takes a strike on the outside, quickly down 0-1.
Co-player of the year in the American Athletic Conference. Tremendous accomplishment. Really has been focused more as a hitter this year. In her first 3 years was used a lot as a pitcher. In fact, was one of their top pitchers the first couple of years. This year, though, focused on hitting, and it's paid off.
The 0-1 breaks low, 0-2 on the swing and the miss. Nice to have that in your back pocket. I mean, your pitching is strong, obviously, for Houston, but always have your co-player of the year that concentrate on hitting if you ever just needed to get down to another pitcher.
In fact, Shelby Miller pitched in the 2015 tournament and against Tulsa and was involved in the decision against Memphis in that tournament, a 1-0 game. So she's got experience pitching in conference tournaments as well as hitting. But what a year she's had. Co-player of the year, well deserved, with Lindsey Crowder, who we saw earlier, showing the talent this league provides offensively.
1-2 down as Richie looks in. Up and in for a ball. And that's one thing, these two teams have an advantage, as for Memphis and Tulsa playing tomorrow may not, because restructuring the tournament due to potential weather. Winner of this game has tomorrow off before the Saturday championship
And I
game.
guarantee you the winner of that game will be in the stands here at Watch Scouting.
Line drive backhanded at first by Burrows to end the inning. Nice play over at first. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. We played a full inning. No score, the Pirates and the Cougars on the American Digital Network.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
Jeff Breivel alongside Eric Lopez on a very nice afternoon in Greenville, North Carolina. Sun coming back out. Nice breeze for those fans out there that camp out in left field at times. Here is McClellan, who fouls it right side and out of play. So the outfield is straight up.
Yeah, McClellan, good power, 8 homers, 35 RBIs.
Takes one there. And a strike down, 0-2.
And that's what makes this ECU offense so dangerous. On any moment, they could take a ball out of the park and get a run on the board.
0-2 pitch. McClellan pulls it foul down in the left field corner. Turned on that one. There's the fans out in left field. That's a great place to watch a game. You're under the shade and the trees, catch the breeze. Good spot to be in. Chopper back to the circle. Huebner over to first in time, one away.
Good job by Huebner. Vintage, they're keeping the ball down and getting ground ball out. That'll be really important against this power lineup of the Pirates. But going back to that fans over there now, is that just fans that just happen to run over there and hang out, or are there people that live there? Because there's a house right nearby there. I've been coming to games here for years, and I always see people hanging out in left field. So maybe it's a mixture. Maybe somebody that's in the house invites them and they have a nice gathering.
Well, it's the spot to be, no doubt about that. Carly Smith, the shortstop. 212, 2 homers, 13 driven in. 1-0, and there's a ground ball to second. James to first in time, and quickly 2 down.
Another ground ball out. That's going to be a key stat to look at today. Huebner keeping the ball down, getting ground ball out. She does not want to get too many flyouts against this Pirates lineup.
Logan Wood, the designated player, the freshman, hitting 205, pair of homers, 8 driven in. Wood swinging a miss on the change, down 0-1 in the count.
That's what makes Huebner so good right there. That's a pitch. As a hitter, you're thinking, oh, that's going to be hanging in the home, right in the middle of the plate. And then as you commit to that pitch, it just drops and dies.
0-1. Change up again. This time she makes contact, but a slow roller back to the circle. Huebner over to first. It'll be a quick inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left on base. We go to the bottom of the second. Still scoreless on the American Digital Network.
Oh, that ball is hit deep, left field, way back. That ball is gone. Double play ball potentially Schreitenthal's over to first. In time, double play, and that ends the game.
Houston Cougars having some fun in their dugout, and they get to have some more fun. They get the day off tomorrow and head to the championship game. Also, win today can give them 30 wins on the season. Now, 30 wins is no guarantee to get anywhere, but it's that 30-win nugget's a really good bullet point to have on your resume. If you've won 30 games, you've had a nice winning season.
Absolutely, and a nice progress for this program. And you see how loose they are, and that's what you want to see. If you're the coaching staff, is a loose team. It's a tournament game, but the message is it's still just as softball. It's still the same game that's played in the regular season. That's been part of the coaching staff message is let's play with fun, let's play loose, and play aggressive, and that's where you get your best production.
Kaylin Crumpton to lead things off here. Clean up in the order, 264, 3 homers, 19 driven in for Crumpton. First pitch. There's a strike on the inner half, and it's 0-1 on Crumpton. Crumpton a hit in yesterday's win. She was 1 for 3. Outfield plays a little deep, as you would expect. Inside, got a hold of that one, but fouls it off. She hit it plenty down past the bullpen.
Well, there's a fan right there. We talked about him in the last inning. He's going to go walk and grab that ball. There he is.
Deep in the wall.
Hopefully he comes back. Hopefully that's not the last time we see him. Well, there he is. He's coming back. He's got it. Now he's thinking, what do I do with this ball?
Make a run for it. Here's the 0-2 and a fly ball in the center. That one is deep. At the warning track is going to be Irvin as she goes up against the wall.
Crumpton hit it well, but hit it to the longest part of the park, 220 to center. If she hits that to left, that's gone, but this is the longest, not the place you want to hit it. And I think she knew about it, but it gave it a nice ride. The wind has picked up going out. It's definitely going out more right now. You see Irvin does a nice job reading it and getting it near the warning track.
There's Sarah Barker, a pair of hits yesterday. 333, 3 homers, 25 driven in. Flies it into center field, and another nice catch by Irvin, having to race into the left center field alley. And so Irvin showing some range here this inning, going back, now going to her right.
She's such a talented player. I've watched her, and really offensively hasn't had the year that she expected, but has not let that affect her defensively. She's as good as center field as it gets. And look at that right there. Great speed, great range in center field. Can track down just about any ball.
Here is Hebner. Hebner 0 for 2 at the plate in the opener. 296, pair of homers, and 27 driven in. One and 0 as Ritchie ready to go. Clellan will guard the line at third as he'll come inside again for a strike 1-1.
Hebner hits, even hits when she doesn't pitch. Don't see that as often anymore in softball. Used to be that was a frequent thing, not as much anymore.
1-1, and a one-hopper gets through. Smith diving to her left as Hebner will stop at first base. So a 2-out single. That'll be the first base runner early in this ball game for the Houston Cougars.
And that's why she's in the lineup. Hebner can hit. Solid average hitter. Doesn't have the power numbers that you might think, but she knows how to put the ball in play and make contact. And she does right there. Good swing. Drilling that ball right past the shortstop and in for a hit.
Sarah Queen, the designated player, 1 for 1 yesterday. 318, 3 homers, 11 driven in. First pitch will be on the outer half. Hebner has not attempted a stolen base this season.
It's always interesting. I've talked to pitchers that hit. Some of them like it because it keeps them involved in the game, their constant movement. Some pitchers don't like to hit because they want to just focus on pitchers. It all really depends on your demeanor and your personality and what you preference.
Another factor of that, too, a lot of pitchers will sit down with their pitching coach in the dugout, go over the scouting report.
Absolutely.
What's coming up here? Next 3, what's the pitch sequence going to be? If you got to hit that inning, that takes that away. Here's the 2-0, and that one's fouled back, 2-1. But you're not going to take a good stick out of the batting order either.
No, and that's the big thing. She's producing as an offensive player because a lot of times a pitcher might still hit, but if she's not hitting, then you'll just sit. So a lot of it depends on lineup. But Hebner can hit. She's a tremendous athlete. Is a player that could probably play in the outfield or in the infield if she really wanted to.
2-1 up and in. That ball is crushed, fouling out of play. That one's into the woods.
He's going for it, though. Look at that. He's going to go for it. He's not really in a rush, but he's going to go.
He's got no competition. Everybody else is hanging out.
He knows that area well. You could tell. But look at that, how quickly he got the ball. And he's going to give it back. Look at that.
Just hanging out. What'd you do today? I hung out in the woods. Shagged some foul balls.
That's 2.
2-2 now to Queen. Reaches out for that one. Swing and a miss. That'll be the first strikeout today for Ritchie. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, or runner left on base. We play 2, and there is no score here on the American Digital Network.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
When learning creates leaders, ideas are ignited, focus gets sharper, and service connects generations. We commit our expertise to heal, to discover, and to drive our region forward to a brighter tomorrow. East Carolina University. Tomorrow starts here.
Again, beautiful day at the ECU softball complex. On the campus, you can see the lights of Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium in the background of the first base grandstand. And not only they built a nice softball program here, great baseball program, incredible what they've done with football here at ECU. They have been a consistent winner. There's Clark LeClaire Stadium, the baseball park beyond the first base grandstand. They'll be busy this weekend with a home series with Memphis. We talked about it in the prior game. You also talk about the track and field facility that's coming along in the last decade. The soccer, Jeff Kopfer and their group here, we may hear from him later, have done outstanding job here building this program.
Yeah, he really has, and look at it, the arena, the basketball arena is beautiful, the football stadium, the Boneyard, and they're all right striking distance. So if you're a sports fan, East Carolina fan, for example, this weekend, you can catch some softball and then take what, how many steps to go watch a baseball game? A few 100?
Maybe 100 yards?
Yeah.
Maybe less than 100 yards over the baseball. 1-1 here to Megan Quick, 187, 4 homers, 11 driven in. 1-1, so both Richie and Heber have been very good early on in this game. 1-2.
And that's a positive sign for both sides. You wondered how they would come out after pitching yesterday, pitching complete games, but after maybe some early balls in the first inning, they're looking sharper and sharper.
1-2, that's chopped foul over to the right side.
And of course, you mentioned, East Carolina has such tremendous tradition in college softball throughout the years, making the NCAA tournament look like for perennial for years. Within a win away of a super regional back in 2011, 2010, going to Tony Paisley era. Megan Hurl. In Houston and ECU had a long history, and these two programs kind of in a similar boat. They for a long time, they were at the top competing for championships in Conference USA. These two programs played for the championship 10 years ago this week. One by Houston, 1-0.
1-2, grounded to short. Garcia over to first in time, and there's one away.
They're right now getting into that rhythm like we saw yesterday with getting ground ball outs. We saw that repeatedly against Connecticut yesterday, and she's starting to get that against East Carolina. That's a good sign for her. But, 10 years ago, Houston won its first ever tournament title against East Carolina, 1-0. Angel Shamblin, an All-American, was the MVP there, their all-time great player. They played in the semis in 08.
Ground ball to first. Miller steps on the back, quickly 2 down.
Houston beat East Carolina in the semifinal to advance to the championship game in 08. And in 2011, we mentioned it here in Greenville, in a semifinal, it was Tony Paisley getting the best of Amanda Crabtree to advance to the championship game as a 5 seed. They knocked off the regular season champions Houston, went on to win the tournament and get the automatic bid.
There is a soft liner and a great grab by Garcia climbing the ladder. Wow. Nice play as Houston flashing the ladder. Let's take another look at this.
Garcia won the job in the fall, and making plays like that, the reason why she played shortstop. Great play.
No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left on base on the American Digital Network.
When learning creates leaders, ideas are ignited, focus gets sharper, and service connects generations. We commit our expertise to heal, to discover, and to drive our region forward to a brighter tomorrow. East Carolina University. Tomorrow starts here.
We go to the bottom of the third inning here in Greenville. There's some young fans enjoying the afternoon and enjoying the weather out here. Not too hot. You have a nice little breeze, and when the sun comes out, you seek a little shade. Hopefully we won't need that umbrella other than
I don't want to see that.
Right now,
so far so good. So we got great weather here.
Garcia, Vanoy, James coming up. 8-9-1 in the Houston Cougar order.
Very fitting that Garcia would lead off after making that great defensive play to end the bottom of the third. But talking back, what I was saying in the last half inning with these two programs, they were playing for championships. And now with new head coaches, Kristen Vesely in her first year, Courtney Oliver in her second year, trying to build these programs back up to that level. That's why this big game is so big for both programs. A win here and you're in the championship game. And now all of a sudden the fan base believes, hey, it's back like it was, and it should be.
First pitch misses down and in for a ball. The good thing for both Coach Vesely and Coach Oliver, they both have good facilities. So they're both in talent-rich softball regions.
Absolutely. And maybe even ahead of schedule, considering Coach Vesely in her first year and Coach Oliver in her second year.
1-0 runs inside. 2-0 now on Garcia.
Houston, the surprise, finishing second in the regular season under Coach Vesely's first year. And then, East Carolina finished really strong last year in the American Athletic Conference. Some thought would be a sleeper this year in the regular season.
Here's the bunt toward the circle over to first in time, so it'll be a 1-4 put out. Yeah, there's one out.
Nice job by Ritchie there, fielding her own position to get the out. And even though the regular season didn't go like Coach Oliver maybe would have thought, you could see the talent, and it's still young in a lot of cases for East Carolina, and I think you're starting to see that grow, with this tournament.
Brooke Vanoy, 241, a pair of homers, 19 runs batted in. Takes it inside to Ritchie. A lot of her sequences starting out inside to set these hitters up.
And she's starting to get ahead of the Houston hitters. She's really kind of back in control, kind of like she was yesterday in the victory against UCF, where she got ahead of the UCF hitters and was able to keep the ball down and keep them off balance.
0-1 evens things up now, 1-1. Ken Vanoy, a 241 hitter on the season. Clennon will play a step in at third base. Waves out on the outer portion of the plate and will just miss.
And talking about the tradition of these programs, Houston has been to the Super Regionals twice. We're one win away from the Women's College World Series in 2008, 2011. East Carolina's been on that cusp of the Super Regionals. So, these programs have had a lot of success in softball.
2-1, that one pulled foul past third.
And it's fascinating because, both universities have great baseball programs with Houston, East Carolina. Cliff Godwin over at ECU. Houston, a top 25 perennial program now. Went to the Supers a couple years ago. East Carolina went to the Super Regionals last year. So the spring for these two universities really, and you mentioned it, with the facilities, they take it very seriously.
No doubt they put emphasis on the spring sports for softball and baseball at both East Carolina and Houston. And as you mentioned, just like it is here at ECU, over at Houston, both ballparks, you can see them. The track splits softball and baseball over at Houston. Softball and baseball here just across the parking lot. 2-2 now. To Vanoy. Inside another foul ball. Just ahead again. All the foul balls she's pulled to third or down to the left field corner.
And you mentioned the emphasis on the spring sports, and that's what makes the league really good. You have programs like East Carolina and Houston. UCF has been good in softball. Now baseball, with their first-year head coach Greg Lovelady, looks like they're turning it around back to what they used to be, a contender. So that's what you need to have a great league. 2-2,
swing and a miss. So the pitch outside, and there's two away.
Now ready for the Cougars.
Well, Ritchie right now is back to form what it was yesterday. And you wondered how she would come out after that big win yesterday. And right now she's in control. You can sense the confidence. Look at it right here, going outside the strike zone, getting the hitter to chase it. Good job.
Ariel James flew to the left to the first. She's 1 for 4 so far in the tournament. 364 on the year. Pair of homers and 24 drove it in quickly down 0-1.
Isn't it amazing? These two teams played some high-scoring games in the regular season, yet when it gets to postseason, pitching always takes over, doesn't it? It's just unbelievable. And that's why we talk about runners in scoring position. Hitting with runners in scoring position is so huge at this time of year because you're not going to get as many opportunities this time of year than you would, say, a month ago in the regular season.
Well, it's like I said, the first game we did, the mental aspect of if you have a bad game, it's a 3-game series, you've got game 2 and game 3 for the majority of the teams at a conference tournament, despite what league it is, there is not going to be another ball game. 1-1, and that one is pulled foul into the bullpen. 1-2, and Richie a strike away from getting out of the third. Much different than game one that we saw earlier today, where Memphis started stringing the runs together and then had that one big inning. There's a foul ball. And yesterday, of course, Houston just kind of slowly pulled away. A run here, 2 runs there, another run, another run. There wasn't the big inning. It was just slowly pulling away throughout the game against the Huskies.
Chipped away, and eventually knocked them out. Different story so far today, though.
Popped it up into center field. Here's Irvin to make the catch. It'll be a 1-2-3 inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. We played 3 complete between the Pirates and the Cougars, and there is no score on the American Digital Network.
When learning creates leaders, ideas are ignited, focus gets sharper, and service connects generations. We commit our expertise to heal, to discover, and to drive our region forward to a brighter tomorrow. East Carolina University. Tomorrow starts here.
No score. It's a pitcher's duel here in the first semifinal game. Have to keep everything straight because the second semifinal game will be tomorrow. We already had a quarterfinal game today where Memphis beat USF. But this is our first semifinal game. The winner today, again, gets a bit of a bonus, a little recovery day tomorrow. I'm sure they'll come out and practice, watch some of the other semifinal game, but a little bit of a recovery day before they have to play on Saturday.
Had to make the changes because the weather didn't look good. Thankfully, so far, so good. Weather is good, but it doesn't change the fact the importance of this game. And you're right, the winner of this game gets to sit tomorrow and watch the Tulsa-Memphis game and get ready for Saturday.
Tell you, still can't say enough about the leadership of the American. They were able to get ahead of this thing, potentially looking at some weather. Had some teams that were coming in anyway on Tuesday, so they were able to accommodate everyone and get a couple of the games out of the way yesterday. So you could start early, you'd have all day in case weather. Now, there's a lot that's going to have it probably. You probably won't see a drop of rain, but you still have to be prepared. We'll see what happens later today and tomorrow, but this will be the last game of today at least. So we look good through 2 days of the tournament as East Carolina trying to get on the board. They get the heart of the order due up. Burrows, Mychek, and Ramirez.
I think as softball fans, they'll be more than happy to see if the weather people were wrong.
Oh, absolutely. That one is down and away.
I've never met anybody that said it was ever upset that the meteorologist was wrong about the weather, As far as, there's going to be rain. Oh, no, there wasn't. Oh, I'm angry now.
2-1 here to Burrows, who reached on the air back in the first inning. That's a line drive fair down into the corner, and she'll make the turn at first. On the way with a stand-up double to lead off the fourth. So a leadoff double for the Pirates, and no one happier maybe than the Director of Athletics, Jeff Comfort. He's standing by with Haley Outen.
I am joined by the Director of Athletics, Jeff Comfort. Jeff, now correct me if I'm wrong, but since becoming the Athletics Director here at East Carolina, have you ever gotten to be on site here hosting a conference championship on campus?
Not on campus. We did host our cross-country championships out at Lake Christie, and that was a great experience, but to have everyone here on campus is certainly a privilege. Happy to have everybody here.
It's been a beautiful week, some great softball, East Carolina playing right now, but these athletic facilities, they've really improved over the past few years, this softball complex being just one of a few that launched in 2011. Talk about just the improvement of the facilities and your initiative to keep doing that moving forward. Yeah,
it all started with baseball, and then it moved to softball and soccer and track, and of course I think everyone knows that we're in the process of doing a major renovation to our stadium, the South Side, a $55 million project that will enhance our press box and premium seating and also premium parking and a field level club, which will be fun and unique to our conference, as well as some upgrades for our team facilities as well.
You've got baseball hosting Memphis this weekend. You got the softball championship going on with the Pirates still in it. A lot going on here on campus, but this has to be pretty fun for you, especially in the postseason. Getting to see the Pirates stick with it, stay in the tournament as the 6th seed, and kind of fight for their life here in the postseason. Kind of fun.
It is fun. It's the first time we've ever scored a run in the American Conference in our softball tournament. It's the first time we actually won a game since 2011 in any conference tournament for softball, so I think we're headed in the right direction.
All right, well, we'll let you get back to the game. Thanks for joining us here, and best of luck to the Pirates this week. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Go Pirates.
Thanks a lot, Haley. Here's a high fly ball deep to center field. Barker back on the track, hauls it in, and on the play, Burrows tags up and goes a third, but boy, Ramirez gave it a big ride there.
Showed good power there, and that's a big play by Barker. That's not an easy play for a center fielder. She's played in her first year at center field and really came up with that, because if she lets that ball go over the head, it's a 1-0 East Carolina lead. As you see, Ramirez almost getting all of it, and Barker coming back and making the catch. There's been a nice find who transferred out of North Texas and has done a great job at center field this year.
Off speed, swing and miss. Great job, by the way, by our camera operators and our staff here on the American Digital. The unsung heroes, those are the guys that got to stay out in the elements all week at the tournament. 0-1, they're going to talk it over down third base.
Yeah, I don't know what's the tougher challenge, that or making sure that we both sound good, right?
Right, that's you can put a filter on a picture. They're going to put a filter on the headsets. 0-1. We had our adventures. Thankfully, we let Haley end up taking the selfie before the tournament today. Here is the 0-1 to McClellan, who hit it back to Hebner 2 innings ago.
Hebner got to be careful here in Vernoy. Got to be on the same page. He likes to throw the drop ball. We got a runner at third and 2 outs. You don't want to make sure that a drop ball doesn't get to the backstop and get the first run of the ball game.
1-1 from the right-hander. Ground ball, and that one is going to be ruled fair. The run's going to come to the score. No, they will rule it foul. Waiting for the
late call.
Hands to go up. Well, I think, that's a tough spot to be at first base. The ball's coming right at you. I believe they also, let's take a look. Just to the right of the bag, yeah.
Yeah, it does not get any closer than that.
That one is sent down the left field line. That one is just foul. Wow. You said it didn't get closer to that until we saw the foul ball down the left field line.
Anything you could do, we could do better. That's another inches. Let's see how close this one is. Ball hit down the line, and that might have been even closer.
By a blade of grass.
Here's another look.
Wow.
Hard to tell if it got a piece of that line. If it did, it would have been fair.
1-2, ground ball to short, scooped up by Garcia over to first, and that will end the inning. Pirates threaten, come away empty-handed, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, a runner left on base. We go to the bottom of the fourth, still scoreless on the American Digital Network.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
No score. On to the bottom of the fourth. Only 3 hits between these two ball clubs as the Houston Cougars going to take a shot at it here to try to get the first run on the board. And there's the setting. If you sit in the grandstands, beautiful setting with the track and field out to the right side, the residential area out and left. The fans enjoying things up in the grandstands here at the ECU softball complex. It'll be Thomas, Miller, and Crumpton due up here at the bottom of the fourth. And right now, just one base runner so far for Houston. And it was Savannah Hemer with a 2-out base hit in the second. That's been it for the Cougars today.
Tremendous job by the senior, Lydia Ritchie. And you know, I thought there would be more scoring opportunities, but Ritchie and Hebner have really done a great job shutting down these potent offenses. And they've executed their pitches, hit their spots, keeping the ball down. And here we are in the bottom of the fourth, no score.
Thomas grounded a second in the first. She is 1 for 4 in the tournament. Gets the bunt down. It's going to stay fair. And a bang-bang play, not in time. Mychek got up, gunned down to first as quickly as she could, but the speed of Thomas provides the second hit of the day.
That's vintage Maya Thomas right there, putting the ball in the bat, takes off. And look at that, very disciplined. By the time Mychek comes up, she did all she could, but Thomas with her great wheels beats it out. And that sets it up now for the co-player of the year, Shelby Miller.
Mychek didn't hesitate. She went after it immediately. It wasn't because there was any hesitation on Mychek's spot, just the speed of Thomas. Able to race down the first. Miller takes one up and then lined out the first to end the first inning. 0 for 4 so far in the American Conference Championships. 378 hitter with a runner at first now, and Thomas, who has 17 stolen bases. Fly ball down the left field line. This one is hooking foul off the wall.
If there was any other hitter at the plate, I would say Thomas is a threat to run, but not with Miller at the plate. I think the last thing Coach Vesely wants to do is lose a base runner with your best player at the plate.
Well, it's pretty obvious as we're a little over halfway through. One run could potentially be it in this game. There have been some runs scored in the other 3 games so far, but this one, just 4 total hits. 1-1 gets the bunt down. That will advance the runner. Mychek down to first in time. So the sacrifice puts Thomas in scoring position for Crumpton.
How about that? You got the co-player of the year who has 10 homers and 51 RBIs, getting the ball down for a bunt to advance the runner in scoring position. You just brought it up. It's one run could make the difference. And she gets the bunt down, and now you got that runner in scoring position, second base. But you mentioned it, we're late here in the bottom of the fourth in a scoreless game. Maybe this is the, Coach Vesely deciding, you know what, we got to just try to manufacture a run.
Pretty much the only time you're going to see 3, 4, and 5 hitters, especially someone with 51 RBI lay down a bunt, is going to be once you get to tournament playoff type of athletics. Regular season, you're taking a swing. We want to use that offense, but do or die, everyone's going to sacrifice and try to advance runners. Kaylin Crumpton ahead 1-0. Again, Thomas always a stolen base threat. Out at second base. 1-0. That'll be a strike on the inside now. 1-1.
And that's why it's important that Carly Smith, the shortstop, and Tate McClellan, the third baseman, they're on the same page here in case Thomas just does try to take off for third base, and who's covering.
Sometimes a coach might want to flash that little fake bunt to get third baseman moving around a little bit, maybe leave that base open just long enough to sneak in. 1-1. It's the high inside corner. That was very good placement that time by Ritchie. Good location. 1-2.
She's been hitting her spots both days. And as a senior, you gotta, there's urgency as a senior. This could be your last opportunity. And Lydia Ritchie on the campus where she spent her career here. There's an added extra urgency. You gotta believe she's locked in for this moment.
1-2 count again with Maya Thomas at second base and 1 out. Bottom of the fourth inning. Houston trying to break through, and there's a pop-up into left field. Ramirez a couple steps back, makes the catch, and there's 2 away.
Big out to get Crumpton to fly out and hold Thomas at second base. Now, more than likely, it's going to take a 2-out hit from Barker to get the run in.
Sarah Barker flew to center in the second. 2 for 4 so far in the tournament. 331, a 306 hitter with 2 outs in an inning. In at both corners, back up the middle. Leaves it down and away. There goes the runner. And as we talked about, they were playing in for the bunt. And Maya Thomas goes immediately, takes advantage of it, picks up her 18th stolen base of the year.
And that's a great situation with a Barker who is definitely a threat to put a ball down on the ground. Thomas read that perfectly and stole third, and that's huge now. The pressure's on Richie now and Mychek to be on the same page here. Any miscue gets that run in. Smart play, too, by Mychek not to force the throw there. Sometimes catchers will force the throw and just kind of instincts trying to throw out the base runner.
1-0, and that one's outside. Smith made a nice run from shortstop. Would not have beaten her there to third base by any stretch.
Absolutely, and the last thing you need is a throw that goes into left field and you're falling behind 1-0.
2-0 count down here to Sarah Barker. And there's a base hit out the middle, and the Cougars strike first. 2-out RBI single by Barker, as she will drive in her 26th run of the year. Remember, before this inning, Savannah Heber, who's coming to the plate, was the only Cougar to reach base, but they've had a pair this inning.
Textbook manufacturing a run. Good piece of hitting by Barker, but remember, how did this start? Well, Thomas with the bunt to get on. Shelby Miller, the co-player of the year, sacrifice bunt to get her into second base, and then Thomas stealing third, and then the 2-out hit by Barker.
Ebner fouls it off to the right side. Ebner with the 2-out single back in the second inning.
So some people might wonder, well, why would you bunt there and put the runner at second base? That's why. You want to get that runner in scoring position, and you have the trust in a player like Barker that could come through to get you a big 2-out RBI.
1-0 Cougars, bottom of the fourth inning. And the pitch misses inside. 1-1 here on Hebert.
And I think it also tells you the Houston coaching staff and the confidence they have in Hebner. Hey, we only need, let's just scratch out a run or two, because that might be enough that Hebner would need.
1-1, up and in, misses. Now 2-1.
Now, if you're Lydia Ritchie, you can't let that hit kind of bother you. You know, you've been pitching fantastic. It's still only in the fourth inning. The last thing you want to do is let that 2-out hit affect you the rest of the way.
2-1, swing and a miss. Snap throw back to first, not in time. It's a good point. You got to stay in it. If you keep it to 1 run, you got to have a chance. You've got at least 9 more at-bats, 9 more outs to use on offense to make up 1 run. You don't want 1 run to turn into a 2 or 3 run inning, especially now you're in the back half of this game. 2-2 and a high fly ball hit one to left field. Ramirez is back, and that one's gone. A 2-run homer by Savannah Hebner. Third homer, RBIs 28 and 29, and they have opened it up to a 3-0 lead.
And it's officially, we could say, Savannah Hebner helping her own cause. 2-run shot to left. We talked about her hitting and pitching. This is why she's in the lineup. A pitch that hung, and she drilled it into left field. And Savannah Hebner, with a huge 2-run homer, now gives herself and her team a 3-run lead to work with.
Complete game yesterday. 2-run homer here today on offense, and pitching another shutout as well. Here is Queen. There's a strike. I know it's early. It's the semifinal game. You would have to advance another game and maybe win the championship, but she's building a pretty good resume for tournament MVP. There's no doubt about that.
Unbelievable 2-run homer. And the irony of that, you talked about this rivalry and then how much history. They played in a semifinal in 2008 in Houston. The starting pitcher for Houston, the All-American Angel Shamblin, hit a 2-run homer in that game to advance the Cougars to victory. Talk about irony. And Savannah Hebner bringing back some memories of the All-American Angel Shamblin.
Swing and a miss. Now 1-2 on Queen.
Shamblin was an All-American pitcher. Pitched from 2005 to 2008 in Houston, led him to the Super Regionals in 2008. Houston was a top 10 team in the country. Should be a future Houston Athletic Hall of Famer when she's eligible here in the next year.
1-2, just outside, 2-2.
And Houston's been trying to find, build that pitching great pitcher. They had Shamblin, then they had Amanda Crabtree in 2011 that led Houston to the Super Regionals. Bailey Watts was one recently, but they haven't had that in the last couple of years, and that's why they've kind of had a bit of a struggle. They've got one now.
No doubt.
And they like their other kid, the freshman Melisson, too. So they got a 1-2 punch here moving forward the next couple of years.
Next year, too, could be really big for that Cougar softball program. 3-2 now to Queen. They'd like to make an early statement here at the end of 2017, no doubt about that. Swing and a miss for the off-speed pitch, but big inning for the Cougars. They had only had one base runner reach so far, but a big fourth inning as they get 3 runs on 3 hits, no errors, nobody left on base. After 4, it's 3-0 Cougars on the American Digital Network.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
Well, Houston, the first team to break through in this ball game, and Savannah Huebner right there, not only outstanding in the circle, a big 2-out, 2-run home run, and though her home run was huge, but even the 2-out base hit by Barker set things up as well to break up this scoreless tie.
No question about it. Without the Barker hit, Huebner never gets a chance to hit in that inning. And that was the big play. And it all set up by Thomas getting on base on the bunt single, and then Shelby Miller, the co-player of the year. I cannot emphasize that enough. 10 homers, 51 RBIs. Everybody's thinking, let her go. She sacrificed bunts, and it paid off to get that first run in and then set up the Huebner 2-run homer.
Carly Smith over 1, grounded a second in the second inning. One pitch, drops it in there for a strike. Now 0-2 on Carly Smith.
Now, if you're East Carolina, the good news is you've got the firepower on offense to make up 3 runs. So it is not time to panic. But you also don't want to press. A lot of times when you're in postseason, teams tend to press if things don't go well. And they, some hitters think they can hit a 3-run homer on one swing when there's nobody on base. Just keep doing what you've been doing all year.
They got potential to put up a big inning quickly. Yesterday wasn't at the 6th where they had the back-to-back home runs against UCF. Things were kind of quiet, and all of a sudden, blasted back-to-back home runs.
Hit a conference record as a team, 64 home runs. Hit 2 yesterday. School record in home runs in a season.
Swing and a miss, off speed, had her fooled. And the strikeout will start the inning.
But they're going to have to force Huebner to put the ball up in the zone, because right now she's in the zone like she was yesterday, keeping the ball down and making the hitters chase it. Watch right here. Huebner, that ball just dies there in the drop ball, and it was already committed for the strikeout.
Logan Wood grounded back to Huebner in the second. That pitch will be a strike on the outer half to Wood. Wood at 2-0-2 now on the season. A pair of homers, 8 driven in. 0-1 is low. Counting it up now, a ball and a strike on Logan Wood.
And Wood and Quick were unsung heroes in the victory over UCF yesterday. Getting production out of the bottom of the order helped set up a couple of runs for East Carolina in the victory yesterday. Sometimes those are the players that make the difference in postseason.
Fly ball in the left center field. Long way to go. Diving as Crumpton out of her reach. on the way to second base, and it's going to be a one-out double for Logan Wood. Second double of the game for the ECU Pirates.
This is how the Pirates got going yesterday. Early in the game, getting the first run of the ball game was set up by their number 8 hitter. And you see Logan Wood here driving the ball into left field, deep there, in an effort there by the outfielder out of a reach of Crumpton. And it's a one-out double here for the Pirates.
Making quick, grounded to short in the third inning. 0 for 1 today. Takes it just off the plate. Vinoy trying to frame it, didn't get the call. .281 hitter with runners in scoring position on the season. Here's the 1-0. Comes inside, and they'll appeal. No swing. 2-0 count. Pirates trying to answer back, trying to get on the board. 3-run fourth for the Houston Cougars. And that's the difference. Ground ball to third. Baldrige has it over to first in time. That'll keep Wood over at second base, and there's 2 away. Back to the top of the order to Sierra Irvin.
That was big to get quick out after falling behind in the count, because if you're East Carolina, if you could get a couple of runners on, flip it over to the top of the order, and eventually get to Burroughs and Mychek, you're in business. But they're able to get that ground out, and now is 1 out away from getting out of this fifth inning.
That one is going to be down and away 1-0. So a runner in scoring position for the second inning in a row for the Pirates. Remember, they had Burroughs, their big opportunity an inning ago with a leadoff double, and couldn't bring her in. Popped it up left side. Crumpton toward the line. And they're out of trouble here in the fifth. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and a runner left on base. On to the bottom of the fifth inning. 3-0 Houston Cougars on the American Digital Network.
Oh, that ball is hit deep, left field, way back. That ball is gone. Double play ball potentially Schreitenstal's over to first. In time, double play, and that ends the game.
Houston Cougars leading the ECU Pirates 3-0 as we move to the bottom of the fifth. Houston with a 3-run fourth, Eric Bunt. ECU's had their chances. A leadoff double in the fourth, a 1-out double in the fifth. When they've had an opportunity, Huebner's been able to get out of any kind of trouble.
He's been able to make that big pitch and either get a ground out or the strikeout and keep the Pirates at bay here without a run. And now if you're Lydia Ritchie, you just got to respond here in the bottom of the fifth. Put up a 0. You know you've got the firepower with Burroughs and Mychek 2 up in the 6th inning. So they're going to still get 1 more at bat for your 2 big power hitters. So this is a big inning, I think, for Ritchie to shut down the Cougars.
Here's Garcia to lead things off. 0-3 in the tournament. She is 0 for 1 today. First pitch will miss outside it. It's 1-0.
And it's magnified because you've got the 8 and 9 hitters before James comes to the plate. So if you're Ritchie, the goal here is to shut down the 8 and 9 hitters and face James with nobody on. You don't want to have Houston runners on when they flip the lineup over with James and Thomas.
1-0 upstairs, now 2-0 on Garcia. Garcia can afford to be really patient right now.
Absolutely. I would take a couple of pitches if I'm Garcia and make Ritchie work. You never know. You might get a free pass out of it.
Garcia with 3 home runs on the season. So they will have Irvin playing a little bit deep in center, and she shoots one into right center field. Going to be at least one wide turn at first, but a nice job by Shiro to get over there quickly. Holds her to the leadoff single.
A nice job by Garcia. Literally transferred and arrived at campus there in January. Won the shortstop job. And a good job coming there to hit there. Doesn't have to do too much with the ball. Drops it into right. And a good start for the Cougars offense here in the bottom of the 5th. Now I could see here if Vanoy bunts here.
I was about to say that. She rolls square, gets the bunt down. It's going to spin foul. I was about to say that's how it started the last inning. Except last inning was the player of the year that put the bunt down, but now Brooke Vanoy trying to advance Garcia, because if they do, you just mentioned a while ago, you flip it to the top of the order.
With James and Thomas, 2 all-conference players, and really the most explosive part of your lineup. And I think that's Coach Vesley talking to Vanoy to see what she's seen with Richie here. Can she get the ball down on the bunt? Another thing, I wouldn't be surprised if you show bunt and then pull back and try to hit away. Maybe catch them off guard now that East Carolina's thinking bunt, because East Carolina's playing the infield now at the corner's back. Playing in it, excuse me. McClellan now playing in at third. McBurrow's playing a little bit in at first.
0-1. Down and away, showed bunt again.
Laid off of that pitch. So a lot of options here when you have a 3-run lead to work with, if you like Houston does here.
Richie is set. Pitch comes inside for a call strike. She showed bunt, pulled it back. I'm not sure if she'd have got good enough contact on that anyway.
No, she might have gotten jammed on that, and she was surprised that pitch was in, but Richie hit the spot. Now that more than likely takes away the bunt as an option. Now you're going to let Vanoy hit away, although I wouldn't be shocked if Garcia tries to steal here.
Garcia this season 1 for 2, but it's a good situation. Swing and a miss on the change, and there's 1 out. 4th strikeout for Richie this afternoon.
Big strikeout for Richie, kind of pulled the strings on that pitch. And Vanoy was way ahead of that one. As you'll see right here, look at that ball just kind of dive. Even as a hitter, it's a helpless feeling. You committed to it, and as you're committing to it, you see the ball is dropping, and you're like, oh, I got no chance there.
Here is Ariel James 0 for 2. A couple of pop-ups, 1 to left and 1 to center ahead, 1-0. 1 for 5 so far this week.
The thing with James, she is still a threat to bunt here for a single, but she's also one that can hit away for extra bases. That's what makes her very lethal and very difficult to deal with.
The 1-0 misses out now. 2-0 here to Ariel James.
Winning Rookie of the Year. Big impact for her in the top of this order for this Houston offense.
Now we'll take a look over into the dugout for the sign. And they get the sign out of the dugout. She relays it off the wristband. There's a foul ball down the left field line as it just took. A lot of times you'll see the catchers with that wrist guard. They'll take the signs, look at the numerical code, however you're going to do it. So they go straight out to Richie here to relay that. See that black armband on her left hand, the glove arm. I remember when they started, this is going to show my age a little bit, the 2-1 they strike, when they started doing that in football. We thought that, oh, it's so
That's
cool.
right.
Look, armband. The quarterback's going to get the sign off the armband now. They do it everywhere.
I mean, that's where softball, a lot of the coaches got it from, was football. They say, hey, that's not a bad idea.
Right.
Instead of, worrying about other teams stealing your signs, you could have it all right there.
2-1. There is a soft liner at the middle, diving, and what a play by Smith. And Smith, one of the smartest things I've ever seen a player do. She not only touched second in case they called it a trap, but then she threw it to first just to make sure she got the double play either way.
And that's a double play. We're out of the inning. Everybody was kind of hesitant there, but that's a heck of a play. Watch this. Diving there, touches the bag at second and says, just to make sure, I'm going to throw to first because all the runners are caught off guard. A double play to end the inning.
It'll go down as an L6 and a 6-3 put out back at first. The double play gets them out of the inning. We have played 5 and the Cougars lead it 3-0 on the American Digital Network.
When learning creates leaders. Ideas are ignited. Focus gets sharper. And service connects generations. We commit our expertise to heal, to discover, and to drive our region forward to a brighter tomorrow. East Carolina University. Tomorrow starts here.
For the Pirates, number 14, Casey Oshiro.
Well, it's a 3-0 lead for the Houston Cougars. Moving to the 6th inning. I'm Jeff Bridle alongside Eric Lopez. And, boy, Savannah Huebner, right now she has thrown 12 shutout innings so far in the tournament. Has a 2-run homer to her credit. And, again, not too early to think you're the back half of the semifinal game. If they continue to make this run, and depending on what happens, and we got a lot of softball to play, but if they were to get to Saturday and make a run there, she's building up a good case for most outstanding player of the tournament.
At worst, she's going to be on the all-tournament team.
Right.
And the future is bright for Houston, but the future might be now.
And the pitch, and there's a base hit, but the Pirates are not going to go quietly. You don't know if this might be their last best opportunity because they've got 2, 3, and 4. You got some big sticks you need to take advantage of.
And that's why the senior Oshiro there with the leadoff single is huge, because now that sets up Burrows and Mychek here to come up to the plate. As we know, with one swing in the bat, East Carolina will be right back in this game. So this is a big moment in this game. You're right. This could be East Carolina's best chance here to catch up to Huebner.
High fly ball in the left field. Crumpton up under it, makes the catch, and Burrows got up under that one.
Yeah, it looked like she got it off the end of the bat there, and all she could do is hit a fly ball to left. That's a huge win for Huebner in Houston to get Burrows out on one pitch. Maybe a little overly aggressive there, swinging on the first pitch, but with the credentials, with the year that Burrows has had, I don't, if there's any kid I would trust on the East Carolina team there, it would be Burrows.
Here's Mychek 0 for 2. Struck out, then lined out to second. The Pirates have had the leadoff batter on for 2 of the last 3 innings. They've had a pair of doubles, a one-out double an inning ago. But just like Huebner did yesterday, it's not allowed UConn nor East Carolina to put back-to-back base runners together. The only time she did was in the first, a single and an error. Leadoff double, 3 straight outs, 1-out double, 2 outs an inning ago, a single here, and then follows it with the out. (2-0). Fouled it over past third base.
The thing that's tough for Huebner, you can't pitch around Mychek because Ramirez has 9 home runs, McClellan with 8 home runs, so there's still power coming here.
.256 hitter with runners on base. We'll take it there. Now a hitter's count, 3-1, can kind of hunt a fastball.
Yeah, if you're Mychek, that's what you're sitting on, a pitch you can handle here. And Huebner's got to be careful because if she gets Mychek on, that'll bring the tying run to the plate.
3-1, and the strike call. Thought she had the base on balls, about to get the bat back.
Close pitch here, we'll see. Huebner goes inside, right around the knees. And now the count is full. See if she goes back that side there.
She does, and it's fouled off the dugout.
Well, and the reason you would go in that spot is if you hit your spot there, there's not much Mychek can do with that pitch. You're trying to jam her and then kind of eliminate the power, and if she hits it to right, that's the harder place to hit it in this field today. You don't want to make a mistake where she can hit it to left.
3-2, and sends it down the right field line, foul into the corner. Still a full count on Mychek with a runner at first and one out here in the top of the 6th. 3-run game. Pirates have the ability to put a big inning into the board, but they've got 5 outs to work with on offense. 3-2, check swing, they'll appeal, no swing, and she's going to draw the walk. First and second, and the tying run now is going to come to the plate.
Good job by Mychek holding her swing there. That was not an easy pitch to lay off. And all of a sudden, Ali Ramirez will come to the plate. But you see what I'm talking about. This pitch kind of drops there. You see Mychek just holding the bat. Draws the walk, and that represents the tying run. And as a result, you got Megan Gibson-Lofton, the pitching coach, talking to Huebner to get on the same page. Of course, Megan Gibson-Lofton, first year here at Houston. Former All-American pitcher at Texas A&M. Led the Aggies to the National Championship Series in 2008 at the Women's College World Series. Houston, where A&M lost to Arizona State. Part of that 1-2 punch with Megan Gibson-Lofton and Amanda Scarborough in those Aggie teams. So you start to see there some action in the Houston bullpen. Right now, East Carolina with their biggest threat, 2 on and 1 out. We'll see what Huebner can do against Ramirez after the meeting now that it's over.
Ramirez, 5 doubles, 9 home runs this year. First pitch, check swing, and they will call the strike.
That's a tough pitch to lay off because, again, it dies. By the time you've committed, that ball is still in the strike zone area, you think. It's a zone, but then it just dies as it lands to the plate.
The Pirate fans didn't like the call. I thought it was good enough just to be a called strike on the outside, personally. 0-1, comes inside, pops it up, and up under it from behind home plate. Vanoy makes the catch, and there's 2 away. So Tate McClellan, who's grounded back to Huebner and grounded a short, comes to the plate. And McClellan on the year has 8 home runs and 10 doubles. First pitch to McClellan, fouls it out of play to the right side, down into the bullpen.
Right now, you've noticed Huebner's going more inside since the meeting, trying to jam the hitters.
Probably a smart play late, especially with the power East Carolina has. Don't want to let these Pirate batters extend those arms.
Absolutely.
When they do, they fouled them off. They've been deep foul balls, but a foul ball doesn't hurt. 0-1. They run it inside again. And you go outside, even if you stay outside and they don't extend their arms to pull it, these Pirates have the power to go opposite way as well. So you want to stay away from that. So they're just trying to keep it in on the handle. And Huebner ahead of McClellan, 0-2. Left it there, and she went around. They'll appeal, and they make sure it's a strike call, and I'll throw down the first just to double check, and that will end the inning. The Pirates threaten, but they get no runs on 1 hit, no errors, 2 left on base. Still a 3-0 Cougar lead as we go to the bottom of the 6th on the American Digital Network.
We are American. The conference of opportunity. The opportunity to chase dreams. The opportunity to make your mark and change the game. Because that's power. We are power.
When learning creates leaders, ideas are ignited, focus gets sharper, and service connects generations. We commit our expertise to heal, to discover, and to drive our region forward to a brighter tomorrow. East Carolina University. Tomorrow starts here.
Well, the Pirates had an opportunity, but Huebner shut the door, and the Pirates will have one more chance once we get to the 7th. But Richie's got to continue to hold Houston off the board. She did a nice job in the 5th after giving up the 3 runs in the 4th, put a 0 up in the 5th to keep her team very much in this ball game.
No question about it. Did a great job to keep, East Carolina's big, dangerous part of the lineup. Huebner got out of it unscathed and protected the 3-run lead. And now Savannah Huebner has put the Cougars 3 outs away from a trip to the American Athletic Conference Championship for the first time for the program since joining the American Athletic Conference.
Big challenge here for Richie. She's got to get through 2, 3, and 4 to try to keep this thing just a 3-run game. Thomas had the leadoff single in the 4th, came around to score the first run on the 2-out single by Barker before Huebner hit the 2-out, 2-run home run.
But it was Thomas, you mentioned, that started that with that bunt, and then Miller with the bunt hit, and then Miller with the sacrifice bunt.
1-0 now from Richie. Showed bunt. It'll be just off the plate. 2-0. Outfield straight up the infield. Playing in, especially at the corners, as expected here on Thomas. 1 for 2 today, and she's 2 for 5 so far in the tournament. Pulls it foul at first base, now 2-1.
Thomas making Richie work right here. But you're right, Richie, what could be her final inning in her career in this stadium, if East Carolina does not make a comeback, has got to keep this at a 3-run deficit and give her offense a chance in the 7th inning.
2-1, lays the bunt down at third base. A throw to first, not in time. Thomas with the speed, legs out the bunt single.
Almost a replay of the 4th inning, how she started the inning with a bunt single.
How does your player of the year? Well, up 3-0 now. Do you let her swing that bat, or is she going to lay to that sacrifice? It'll be interesting to see now, because it's a different scenario. You got to remember, in the 4th inning, they had only had 1 base runner until the 4th inning. Now they've got a 3-run cushion, and also with the speed of Maya Thomas, could be a little hit and run action here.
Or you let a straight steal and put it in scoring position to have your RBI hitter drive her in.
Doesn't show bunt. She'll take the ball low, 1-0.
I think being up 3, they're going to go for the jugular here.
Yeah.
The 4th inning, you mentioned you were trying to scratch out a run at that point. You're just trying to find a run. Now with the 3-run lead, I think they're going to let Miller hit away. But I wouldn't be surprised if they try a steal or a hit and run, like you said here, and try to get her in the scoring position.
Thomas is set over at first. He'll come in and a fly ball to left field. Not going to have enough carry. Toward the line is Ramirez. And there's 1 away. Miller, the kind of player, every time the ball goes up, though, you kind of hold your breath. Kind of a routine fly ball, but hold your breath every time it goes up to see if it's going to be another one. And here is Crumpton, who flew to left in the 4th. Flew to center on that really nice play by Irvin back in the 2nd.
Miller just missed that pitch. I mean, she just got jammed enough. Otherwise, that thing would have been still going. But good pitch by Richie to jam it enough to get that fly out.
Pitch down and in for a ball, 1-0 on Crumpton. For the Pirates, they're going to have 7, 8, and 9 coming to the plate in the top half of the 7th. Comes the 1-0. Just foul. She pulls it past third base. Again, we'll have just one game tomorrow, 1 Eastern, Tulsa and Memphis. That's 1 Eastern, noon Central tomorrow. This wraps up action for day 2 of the American Softball Championships, 1-1. Memphis a 7-0 winner over USF earlier today. 1-1 up and out now, 2-1.
Maybe arguably the most complete game Memphis has played all year. And what a time. Molly Smith was fantastic. And that Memphis offense was really rolling against the USF pitching staff. All 4 USF pitchers had to pitch in the game. Well, they had no answers.
They were looking for some momentum late in the season. They finally got it when they won the series at UConn and carried over here. Fly ball toward the line again. Almost exact same spot as Ramirez hauls it in for the second out. And Sarah Barker, who had a 2-out RBI single and broke the scoreless tie in the 4th coming up.
Ritchie doing a good job jamming the hitters here to get these 2 outs. And here's Barker, really an unsung hero. Huebner is going to get a lot of attention, and rightfully so, by the way she's pitched in the 2-run homer. But it was Barker that drove in that first run in the 4th inning with 2 outs.
First pitch, a strike on the outer half.
Who knows what happens if Barker doesn't get that hit with 2 outs? We might still be scoreless right now.
As big as a 2-run homer is, I'll agree with you. I think the sacrifice by Miller and the single by Barker are just huge, huge keys. But overall, you can't ignore a 2-run homer and yet another shutout being thrown by Huebner today. Oh, 0-2 on Barker. Now Ritchie a strike away from getting out of the inning. Ground ball left side, deep in the hole. The throw to first will not be in time. Nice effort by Smith, who would have had no chance to get her at first. So it's first and second, and here is Savannah Huebner. 2 for 2 today, a single, a 2-run homer, 6 shutout innings in the circle.
You see the replay there of the Barker hit. Not really much there Smith can do. That ball was hit deep in the hole, but here's Huebner. A chance to really break this game open right now.
First pitch is low to Huebner, 1-0. Zaraquino on deck is 0 for 2. Ritchie looks in, has the sign, the 1-0. Ball inside now, 2-0. They'll play Huebner deep all the way around. Two-0. Comes right down the middle and a called strike.
Thought for a second maybe Huebner would get the green light there to go swing, but you know what? Discipline, take a pitch. You're still ahead of the count here, 2-1.
Huebner said now to Ritchie. Takes a look, 2-1. There's a strike called on the outside. Went under that high outside corner.
Going away from Huebner this time around. But now a strike away from getting out of this inning and giving her team one more opportunity in the 7th.
2-2 delivery. Stayed outside that time. We knew that was staying outside. My check jumped out quickly on that pitch.
Well, I think it's absolutely a result of the last at-bat when Huebner hit the 2-run homer. Sometimes you go the opposite route after giving up the 2-run homer. It was a pitch that was laid in. This one's going more away.
3-2, ground ball off the middle base hit, and here comes Thomas around third. She'll score to make it a 4-0 Houston lead. A 3 RBI day for Huebner, who drives in her 30th on the year.
The big debate might be afterwards, what's been the more impressive performance, Savannah Huebner pitching the 6th inning so far, or on the plate? Great job hitting there, driving in another 2-out RBI, her 3rd RBI of this game, and gives herself an extra run to go up 4-0. And here, I like what Coach Vesley's going to do here. She's going to, looks like, go to the bench and go to a pinch hitter to give a different look.
It'll be Burton. Burton's going to hit for Houston.
Yep. Try to give Ritchie a different look here with 2 on and 2 outs.
So it'll be Breezy Burton, the pinch hitter, with Huebner at first and Barker over at third, who went to third on that base hit by Huebner. Upstairs for ball, 1-0 to Burton.
Burton has some pop, so I think that's part of the reason why she's pinch hitting here.
Up and out of the off-speed pitch, 2-0.
I thought for a second, too, they might consider pinch running for Huebner to kind of give her a break to get ready for the top of the 7th, but they've let her in there at first base. And at this point, I would just let Savannah Huebner do whatever she wants.
That's what I was about to say. Now it comes in inside, but good enough for a called strike.
That might be one of those where you go to Savannah Huebner and say, are you good? Are you good at first base? Or you want to come out and like, no, I'm good. Okay, great.
Just leave her alone right now in this tournament. Stay out of her way.
That's right.
The 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Now Richie, yet again, a strike away from getting out of the inning. Two balls, 2 strikes. Runners at the corners at 2 outs. Popped it foul out of play to the right side.
Still got the runners at first and third here. And you're right, this is a big pivotal pitch for Richie. If you have any chance of a comeback here, you've got to keep this at a 4-run deficit.
2-2. Fly ball to left field. That one is deep. That one is going to be over the head of Ramirez, and another 2 runs are going to score. It'll be a 2-run, 2-out double for the pinch hitter, Burton.
Great call by Coach Vesley. Mentioned it, going to Burton, who has some pop, and you saw it right there. Drilling that ball into left field and driving in 2 runs and maybe the knockout punch and then punching the ticket to the championship game. You see Burton swinging that ball deep into left field and over the head of the outfielder. But Coach Vesley, I mentioned it right at that, but I like the move going for the knockout punch there. And it pays off.
Not far away from a 3-run homer. He gets the 2-run double out of it.
And I mentioned she had some pop. And sometimes you look at the numbers and like, well, they're not that great in limited action, but these coaches know their personnel and they know what's going on in practice. And a lot of times. As Queen returns, re-enters the game now to run at second base for Burton, who does her job. Remember, you have the re-entry rule in college softball, so even if you get pinch hit, you can always re-enter the game.
Well, Richie's got to concentrate on getting his 3rd out because now you have the potential winning run at the plate. And I'm not talking about the winning run. I'm talking about the game-ending run at the plate. If Garcia gets a hold of her 4th inning, we're done.
And it just tells you how potent this offense is. 303 average. They were shut down going into the 4th inning. And all of a sudden, they've got 9 hits and 6 runs.
Foul ball straight back, 0-2.
And they can do it in different ways. They can manufacture runs. They can run a little bit. They can hit for power with Miller, but they can also hit for gappers. I mean, they've got a lot of versatility in their offense.
It's been a good week so far for starting pitchers. If Huebner finishes this game off in the 7th with the shutout, 3 of the 4 games will have been shutouts so far. 0-2, down and away now, 1-2.
We wondered going into this game with Huebner and Richie both starting and going the distance yesterday, will there be any effects? And I think we've started to see a little bit of that with Richie here towards the end of this game.
1-2 fouled off. She stays alive.
Richie's been the workhorse for this team, among the American Athletic Conference leaders in innings pitched, strikeouts, games pitched, wins.
Up and in. We'll miss out 2-2.
Got that elusive conference tournament win yesterday against UCF, pulling the upset. But in the last couple of innings has run into this Houston offense. It's just been clicking.
2-2 reaches out, fouls it into the net. Still 2-2.
And regardless whether it's Tulsa or Memphis, if Houston holds on here and gets 3 outs, they're going to have their hands full against this Houston team. And they don't have to play tomorrow, so that's a day off. Huebner should be ready to go for the championship game.
2-2. Popped it up. Into left center field. Back out at short is Smith to end the inning, but Houston's going to open it up with 3 runs on 4 hits, no errors. They'll leave a runner on base. We go to the 7th, 6-0 Cougars on the American Digital Network.
When learning creates leaders, ideas are ignited, focus gets sharper, and service connects generations. We commit our expertise to heal, to discover, and to drive our region forward to a brighter tomorrow. East Carolina University. Tomorrow starts here.
Last chance for East Carolina as Savannah Heidner tossing another shutout for the Cougars as Houston leads it 6-0 here at the ECU softball complex. They've been a great host here at East Carolina for the first 2 days of the championships. We'll have one game tomorrow, then the championship on Saturday. 7-8-9 due up. They'll start it off with Carly Smith, who's 0 for 2 today, a strikeout and a ground out. Heidner in the circle has thrown 13 shutout innings so far. She's driven in 3 today, including her 3rd homer of the year. Popped it up right side of the infield. Miller at first will take it, and there's one away.
What a job by Heidner, again, keeping the ball down. That time got a little bit of pop-up, but really harmless in the infield. I mentioned earlier, maybe Houston's argued the greatest softball player to ever wear the Cougar colors. Angel Shamblin could hit and could pitch. And Savannah Heidner following in that footsteps. Shamblin was a 2007 tournament MVP, and if Houston were to win this tournament, no question, Savannah Heidner is the front runner for that right now.
Wood grounded out to Heidner in the 2nd. Had the one-out double in the 5th. Swing and a miss on the inside. Heidner today only in the 1st, an Ashiro single and an error that Burroughs reached on the only time they've had back-to-back batters reach. 0-2 runs it down and in. In fact, they've only had 6 total Pirates reach base today.
And this is a significant game for Heidner moving forward for her career, not just because of this tournament, but for the future. This is the first time in her Houston career she started back-to-back games. Right. You know, there's always been that question, can she go back-to-back from last year to this year? She's answered those questions today.
1-2, left it just down and in. 2-2.
And now that you've crossed that off the list, I think moving forward, Savannah Heidner can pitch whenever. Right. And that's part of the growing process. She's just a sophomore. She may not. We better be reminded of that. I don't think the other teams in the league want to be reminded of that, but she's just a sophomore.
Thanks to the off day, if everything plays out here of just 2 outs to go, for the first time in her career, she'll start 3 straight games. So I would be shocked if she doesn't get the ball on Saturday. 2-2. Well hit ball, but foul.
And of course, if Houston wins here, they beat Memphis 2 out of 3 at Memphis earlier this season. They were swept at Tulsa, but that was a dramatic series. Heidner, in fact, had a no-hitter going into the 8th inning in the first game of that series against Emily Watson. A game that Tulsa won in extra innings. A game that was suspended due to weather. They had to finish it the next day. Watson had 21 strikeouts in that game, and Tulsa won a 1-0 game in extra innings. And really, that was the biggest difference in that series. If Houston wins that game, that might have been a completely different series. And that was the difference in the regular season title, really, Tulsa winning it.
2-2, another foul ball. What a battle here by Logan Wood at 2-2. Continues to foul him off down the left field line, over to right field, hanging in there.
Trying to compete here. He's had a very good tournament here in these 2 days. Has helped East Carolina get to this point this week.
2-2, hangs back with that pitch down and away now. A full count at 3-2 on Logan Wood.
But Heidner was fantastic against Tulsa, so that's why I tend to agree with you. I believe that Heidner would get the ball in the championship game, either against Tulsa or Memphis, because she's had success against both.
3-2, and a line drive up the middle, but it's going to stay in the air, and Barker makes the catch, and now they're down to the last out. And we talked about it earlier today. I don't know if it was about Heebner or another player. Once you get to tournament time, you kind of throw out the tricks in the regular season. You stick with the hot hand, the hot arm, the hot bat.
Absolutely.
Making quick over 2. Grounded to short, grounded to third. And it's the last chance for the Pirates to stay alive.
Maybe Savannah Heebner doesn't want the day off tomorrow.
Right.
They might want to just keep playing.
She may call tournament officials and ask to move the game up. Here's a ground ball to third, over to first, and that will do it. A 1-2-3 inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. And the Houston Cougars take it by a final of 6-0 as Savannah Heebner now has thrown 14 shutout innings here in the American Championships.
Dominant performance for her again in the circle, back-to-back shutouts, but also helping herself with the bat. A home run, 2 hits, 3 RBIs. Clearly the difference in this ball game. Houston getting 3 runs in the 4th inning, highlighted by the 2-run homer by Heebner, and then the 3 runs in the 6th. That's all she wrote. And the tournament run comes to an end for Courtney Oliver and East Carolina. But the future is bright. A lot of young players still on this Pirates team. So they'll move ahead. It ends the career of Lydia Ritchie. That'll be the question for East Carolina next year, who becomes the #1 pitcher. But they have a lot of firepower offensively coming back. But today it's about the Houston Cougars and the return of the Houston program. 10 years to the day that the Cougars won a conference tournament for the first time in program history in 2007, led by an All-American in Angel Shamblin. They return 10 years later to a championship game led by a pitcher phenom in Savannah Heebner.
What an outstanding day here for the Houston Cougars as they win it again today, and they'll play the championship Saturday. Let's go on down to the field to Haley Allen.
Well, we have some pretty excited Cougars standing here right behind us, so I'm sure we're going to be getting photobombed here throughout this interview. Coach is totally prepared, though. Headed to your first conference tournament final. This has to feel pretty good, especially in your first year as the head coach. What does this mean to you?
It means a lot. It means a lot to the staff. It means a lot to the girls. I mean, this is what we've been working for. Very happy we're standing in this position.
Savannah Heebner, a pretty good couple days for her. 14 scoreless innings, a 2-run homer today. What can you possibly say about her performance?
The crazy thing is she is actually even better than she's showing. She has the potential to be great.
For rest tomorrow, that's probably a pretty good situation to be in, to have a day off before the final. But how are you going to use that day to prepare to play the winner of Tulsa and Memphis on Saturday?
You know what? We're going to come out and practice, do what we've been doing the last few months, get better every day, and get some reps in.
Good luck to you, Coach. We'll see you out here on Saturday. Thanks.
Well, Savannah Heebner, another shutout. 14 shutout innings to get a home run and 3 driven in today, and now she's standing by with Haley Allen.
Yeah, Jeff, you've said this name quite a bit today. Savannah Heebner the past couple days, 14 scoreless innings for you, the 2-run homer today. Pretty good tournament so far. Are you just feeling it out here or what?
Yeah, I'm just trying to back up my team and keep us up in the lead in these games, and I just want to come out and keep winning.
After you hit the 2-run homer, what was the reaction like in the dugout from your teammates?
They were crazy, and they were just like, that ball was gone right away, and I didn't know it was. I just swung and hope for the best.
After 2 days of outstanding performances, you get the day off tomorrow. How is your body feeling at this point in the tournament?
It's feeling pretty good because pitching coach Megan Gibson-Lofton is having me ice bath at the hotel, so I get a bunch of ice poured on me.
Well, I'm sure you'll need that again today, or again later today, and we'll see you out here on Saturday. Best of luck to you. Good job.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Haley. Well, what a week so far, Eric, as you take a look there at the updated bracket.
Imagine if Houston actually were loose, huh?
Right.
But what a job by Savannah Heebner and Coach there. And now the Houston Cougars back. They played in their first ever American Athletic Conference Championship game. And they now know if they win that game, they get an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. They'll wait to see who they play against either Tulsa or Memphis. Should be a great final regardless, and it sets up interesting tomorrow. Now Tulsa and Memphis will play, and I'm sure Houston, they'll practice, but they'll also keep an eye on that game and do some scouting.
That's our only game tomorrow. It'll be at 1 Eastern, noon Central here. So that was the Savannah Heebner show today. Another shutout for Heebner. Again, a 2-run, a homer, and an RBI single. Oh, by the way, she got a 3rd hit back in the 2nd as well, so a 3-hit day. Houston Cougars, the final, 6-0. That'll wrap it up from Greenville, North Carolina. For my broadcast partners, Haley Otten and Eric Lopez, I'm Jeff Brightwell. Thanks for joining us this afternoon on the American Digital Network.